Hello and welcome back to Retro Game Purity. Today's video I'm going to go over arcade buttons and how to get those wired. My last couple of videos were about a Raspberry Pi case. I do use a Raspberry Pi to power my arcade cabinet, so I figured I'd show people how I got that set up. So the few things you're going to need arcade buttons, you're going to need micro switches, you're going to need the wires, and you're going to need an encoder. Usually when you buy an encoder kit, it comes with the wires that you'll need, but you often have to buy the buttons and switches separately. Sometimes it comes all in one big kit. I like to use a zero delay sort of brand encoder, and I can show you a diagram of that encoder on the screen. Right now it's double-sided taped onto the inside of my arcade machine to secure it, so I didn't want to take that out and uninstall that for this video, but it's pretty easy once you get the basics. So I've got a couple of different kinds of buttons here. I've got the standard concave button you can see here, and then I've got the lighted convex button. So those are the two that I'm going to show you how to do today. They're pretty basic. It's really not that difficult. The first thing you'll need to do is secure your button to your case. So the button just slides into the hole on your control deck, and then you just secure it in place with one of these nuts. And you get that nice and tight so that it doesn't move around. Then you have to add the micro switch onto that. So the way you want to line that up is the nice clicky button there has to be facing down. So you find this top tall post, you put it in this top corner hole there, and then you just rotate that down. Then what you're going to need to do is just sort of push. It takes a little bit of force, but you don't want to use too much force because these are just plastic posts and they can and will break. Especially I've noticed on the silver chrome buttons, that's just really fragile plastic, and I've broken a couple of those. So now that you have attached that button, that's got that really nice arcade click. So that's what you're looking for. Then to attach the wires to that, and I was doing this wrong the first couple times I tried to set it up. So the two posts you want to use are, you want to use this post, the very top post that's sort of off to the side by itself, and then you want to use the post nearest to that. That's your typical arcade button press. I think you can use the far post and this if you want to do some other sort of button press, like where you hold the button down and the action is upon release of the button. I think that's how that works, but that's really not the use case most people are going to use it. So then you've got your wire here. You need to attach one of these wires to each of these posts here. And this is the same whether you're using the lighted button or the standard button. So you just attach these wires to the post. And the zero delay is nice because it comes with these wire ends, and these just plug right into the encoder. As you can see, I'll put up on the screen here a diagram of the encoder. These just plug right in. There's up, down, left, right, and then I think up to 12 other buttons you can put, and that works for me. That's all I need. And again, I use two of these. I use one for player 1 and one for player 2, so that they've got discrete individual button presses. And you have to map these each individually in emulation station, so that's pretty easy to do. So now you've got this, and it's attached to your encoder. And you just need to do this many, many more times for all the buttons you're going to do. And that's as easy as that is. Now, on the light up ones, those are just a little bit different, but not too different. So I'm going to set this to the side. So this is the light up button. As you can see, there's already a couple of terminals on there. Those are actually for the lights. Now, this is so wide that you have to take this out, and this just kind of turns and comes out. and it turns and locks and comes in and out. So you have to remove that if you're going to remove this nut, because it's too wide. The other ones, the standard buttons, you can screw it and unscrew it with that, with the posts in place, and that won't really affect it. So you've got your little light bulb, and you just plug the light bulb in there until it's flush, and then the light bulb goes just up in there, and now you've got that locked in. So these two posts are for the lighting. These two posts are for the light bulb. So you want to plug those into the red ports on your zero delay encoder. The red ports are the ones that provide 5-volt power. So make sure you plug those into the red ports. And then it's just the same as it was before. You find the downside of the button. The downside of the button is what has to face the bottom here. And then you just snap that in and you put it in place. And so this will ultimately have 2 wires coming from it. The first wire, which is the one that's already attached, I attached it in the first part there, that controls the switch, so that controls the clicky switch. And then these second 2 ports you would just attach, this pretty much the same wires go onto those, and then those plug into the red. And so that's it. You have wired your buttons and you are ready to go. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of Retro Game Purity. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or insights, feel free to comment below. As always, thank you for watching Retro Game Purity.